If you wonder if I hate you, I do. Shitty of you to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. And if you wonder if I hate you, fuck you. Friends, family, random people who found me on the internet, welcome to my channel. So today we're going to talk about ADHD medication. The spicy stuff. So June of this year I was diagnosed with ADHD at 19, no not 19, I'm 19 right now, at 18 years old. And I started medication in July. So I have like July, August, September, November, beginning of December. 4 or 5 months of experience with medication. So I will talk a bit about how my ADHD medication journey has been and what my dose has been, what has changed, that kind of stuff. You can find the timestamps in the description or you can look at the chapters in the video, and yeah, let's get into it. So I started medication somewhere in June, and I started with a very low dose because usually they let you start off with like a low dose and then they add to it as you go along. What are you doing? No. Don't eat the plants. So my started dose was 5 milligrams 2 times a day. So in total I would take 10 milligrams a day. If you don't have any knowledge on medication, this is a very, very low dose. Usually people take about... Wait a minute, I don't know what the average dose is actually. What is the average ADHD medication dose? Oh, look at that. All my tabs of my obsession with crystals are still open. I sense that my hyperfocus has awakened. Well, I should say reawakened. What was I looking up? Yes, no. So the average dose of my type of medication, methylphenidate or methylphenidate, I don't know where to put the emphasis in that word. So the average dose of that is 10 to 20 milligrams a day. I can already tell that this video is going to be so all over the place and so chaotic. So I took 5 milligrams 2 times a day and I didn't really feel anything of it. I noticed that my ADHD symptoms got kind of worse in the beginning, and that made me really doubt my diagnosis, because I was like, if I have these types of effects because of the medication, then probably I don't have ADHD, because this is how people who don't have ADHD react to this type of medication. So I was experiencing being extra hyperactive in the sense that I was talking a lot when I took my medication. So I was really scared that I did not have ADHD. Like, the imposter syndrome was very much there, and I was still forgetful, I was still messy, I was still like not very, I was still very ADHD, if not more ADHD. So I was really scared that I actually did not have ADHD and I was just taking these drugs. I was just like getting addicted to drugs. I was really scared. I was really scared in the beginning. The imposter syndrome was very real. It was very intense, and yeah, I still feel like an imposter sometimes. It's great. It's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle I'd rather not live, but I guess we can't have it all now, can we? Anyways, I very quickly realized that 5 milligrams did nothing. These symptoms of feeling extra hyperactive and extra ADHD only lasted like the first 2 days I took the medication, and after that nothing happened anymore. I was just the same, basically. So then a month went by and I used this medication, this dose, and then I went to the doctor again because I have an appointment every month. And in this appointment, me and my doctor decided that I would up my dose. So I took 2 pills of 10 milligrams a day at this point. So before this, it was 2 times 5 milligrams. Now it's 2 times 10 milligrams. Yeah, in the beginning it was like fine, but then suddenly this thing happened where I got really fucking nervous when I took this medication. Not really nervous, but like sometimes I would get palpitations and I would just feel really restless. I was also very sad because the medication didn't fix my ADHD, because medication can only do so much. It will not take away your ADHD symptoms, and on top of that, you shouldn't really think of your ADHD symptoms as things that should be fixed or repaired. You're a complete person, you're fine, you do not have to be fixed. But me of like 2-3 months ago, I did not think this way. I thought this medication would take away everything that I hated about myself, which turned out to be ADHD, but it very much did not. It did not take away anything in the amount that I wanted it to do that. I was still very much ADHD, and I'm still at this point in time also very much ADHD, but at that point of time I was in a different mindset. I really wanted my ADHD symptoms to like not be gone necessarily, but to be, I guess I wanted them to be gone. Damn. Okay, did not really think about that before filming this video. Anyway, so I took the medication and shit, and then I got these weird side effects somewhere, you know, these palpitations, feeling restless, feeling nervous. But to counter this, there are also some things that I did enjoy about medication. I know I said it did not take away my ADHD symptoms, and it very much did not, but it did help me function better, if that makes sense. So I was able to focus better, and I was able to get shit done. And sometimes I would get in this zone where I was just so focused on something that everything around me disappeared. Not in a hyper-focused way, but in a just I'm concentrated way. Another thing that I did enjoy about this dose of medication is that my brain just felt silent sometimes. Sometimes I just had no thoughts, and that made me so happy that I just literally wanted to cry, if that makes sense. I was like, do people get this clarity for free? Things were silent for the very first time ever. Just actually silent. I cannot describe the feeling of things being silent to you because you have to experience it yourself. Just makes you realize how overwhelmed you can get by your own mind. ADHD brains cause so much thoughts, so much shit to go through your mind, and you can already get tired from that and already get overwhelmed from that. When I took the medication, that was kind of eliminated sometimes, and I wanted to put the emphasis on sometimes because this did not happen every time I took medication. It was a thing that sometimes happened. That was great. It was amazing. But there were also the shitty side effects really made me wonder whether I really wanted to take the medication or not, because at this point I knew I functioned better when I took the medication, but I also knew that I did not like the way the medication made me feel sometimes. So in the summer I stopped taking it after a while because, you know, all of these negative side effects. I didn't really needed to focus on anything. I didn't need to function better because I did not have school or anything. So I didn't think it was necessary to take the medication. Plus I could also not sleep at night sometimes because I took the medication too late because I forgot to take it because I have ADHD. And I also was really scared of losing myself, and I noticed I got more quiet and everything because the medication makes you calm, you know, it's a thing. And I was just scared of losing myself, and I did not sleep that well, and I just felt shitty sometimes, and I didn't really need to focus, so I was just like, nah. So I quit for a while. And then school came around. The new year begun, you know, university started again, so it was time to function again. And I knew this was a thing, so I started medication like a week before school started because I thought I needed that week to prepare for the first week of university because I'm just usually very slow with reading stuff, with doing stuff. And I also just wanted to get back in the groove, you know, of taking the medication. So I did that, and then suddenly the palpitations, the restlessness, the borderline panic attacks returned. But this time they returned very intense. So the first time I experienced these types of symptoms, of course it was not nice, but they stopped after like 30 minutes. Okay, it was only because the medication needed to start working that happened, but for the rest of the day it was gone. This time around, it did not leave. I experienced these fucking shitty symptoms for the entire day. I was just getting so scared, depressed almost, because I wanted medication to work for me. I wanted it to make me feel good, and I felt like it just did not do it for me, and that just made me, you know, very sad. And on top of that, I also had classes in the evening, so from 5 to 7, and my medication did not work anymore from 5 to 7, so the rebound thing that happens when your ADHD symptoms get even worse when your medication stops working, that happened during that class, so I could not focus for the life of me. But I also experienced these shitty symptoms like palpitations, nervousness, restlessness, all that fucking shit. I experienced that during classes as well. And especially when I was already nervous, then this medication just skyrocketed that and made me feel like so anxious. So I talked to my doctor about this, and the fucking joke of it all was that everything of these symptoms, that like these shitty fucking things, I made that worse myself. I am not diagnosed with anxiety. I do not have anxiety as far as I know, but these symptoms, because I was so anxious about them at some point, they just got worse and worse. And because I was like, oh my goodness, I have palpitations. What if my heart what if I get a heart attack? What if I just like die? Or what if my blood pressure goes up like 1,000,000? What if I just die? Basically, what if I just die? And also, of course, the everlasting thought of, I do not actually have ADHD because I experience these things. And these things would only be experienced by people who don't have ADHD, who take ADHD medication. So I went to my doctor to talk to him about all of this, and also about not being able to focus in the evenings. And my doctor, it's so fucking dumb, because as soon as he told me that this was all normal and this was something that everyone experienced, it was gone. Everything was gone. Palpitations, gone. Nervousness, gone. Restlessness, gone. Everything was gone. Anyway, so my anxiousness just made everything worse. I did not have to feel those things. I just made myself believe that those things were like a thing. So I made myself very anxious for no fucking reason. Isn't that amazing? That is the epitome of clownery. I feel like such a fucking clown. Like, was my imposter syndrome so bad that I made myself believe that I did not have ADHD so I would feel these things? I don't understand. And we also upped my dose. So up until this point, I was taking 20 milligrams in total a day, and now we're going to up it to 30 milligrams, and that would mean I would take 3 pills during the day. Usually I would take 2, but now I would take 3 so I could also focus in the evenings. So after this conversation with my doctor, my shitty symptoms went away, and I was actually able to focus during the day. What? So this was everything. I was doing great. I was doing amazing. I was getting shit done. I was getting things done quickly. I was less drained after a day. It was amazing. It was like one of the first times ever that when I was in a class, I wasn't like, that I would look at, for instance, like the cup my teacher was holding to drink her coffee, and it was like, oh, that cup is yellow. Yellow reminds me of this. That reminds me of this. And, then I was not paying attention anymore. That was not the case anymore. I was paying attention. I could hear everything she said. I was like, damn. This is what people get for free. Some things that I did experience which were less nice is that after medication stopped working, I would just get a little bit sad. So I would just be sad for like half an hour, for no reason. If you experience that on a daily basis, it's just not great. But anyways, that kind of stopped after a while, or I got used to it. I never know. I never know if things stop when I take medication or I just get used to it. I genuinely don't know. I also suddenly got like energy bursts at 11 p.m. at night, but I usually get energy bursts at 11 at night. But these type of energy bursts, they were like way up there, Usually my parents would already notice my energy bursts, but now it's just like to the point that when I would say goodbye to my dad to go to sleep at 11 p.m, I would suddenly go to sleep at like 12:30, It's just all 1 a.m. because I was constantly talking to him and just endlessly talking to him, and then I just feel like I can't stop talking, and that is annoying because I could not control myself anymore and just kept talking, and that just happened a lot after medication stopped working because you kind of have the rebound. Not great. So that was that, and then suddenly after this like period of glory, the downfall happened because my medication stopped working for me. I don't like it either. I was sad about this because, I felt like if I was going to up my dose now, then I would just get in this constant spiral of just, upping my dose, and suddenly I would be at the max. I was just scared of that. So me and my doctor decided I would say like 1 month on the same dose, and then I would take it when I needed to take it and stop taking it when I did not need to take it. This semi-worked sometimes, but not that much. Things basically stayed the same. Okay, they basically said sometimes I had a moment where suddenly I was able to focus. Sometimes suddenly when I would take my second pill of the day, I would just feel silence. It did not happen much. It maybe happened like 2 or 3 times in this entire month that I was trying this. Just keep that in mind. But then suddenly things would go silent, and then I would be like, oh, this is why I take the medication. The crying because I felt so happy feeling came back, and I was like, damn. And then I went back to my doctor a month after, and then we decided I would up my dose. So now we are kind of almost caught up to the present because I still take this dose. This appointment to up my dose is the last doctor's appointment that I have had, in recent history. So now my dose is 40 milligrams a day. So I will take 2 pills of 10 milligrams in the morning, and then I will take another one during the day, and then I will take another one during the day. So I would be able to focus during the entire day. Has this made a difference? I think so. For some reason, I never feel anything of medication in the morning. I just don't know why. If I feel something from the medication, it's in the afternoon. Don't know why. Don't ask me why. I really don't know. Now, I do have more moments of focus and have more moments of brain silence, so that is nice. I guess it mostly helps me with concentration, and it also calms me down a little bit, because as many people like to point out to me when I tell them that I have ADHD, I'm not the most hyperactive kind of ADHD out there. My hyperactivity symptoms are, mostly touching my hair constantly. I can assure you, if you watch this video, you're going to see me touch my hair constantly, you're going to see me touch my earrings, doing this the entire time. That is a form of hyperactivity. I also talk endlessly when you let me. I will talk forever if you let me. And also, if I have a drop of alcohol in my system, these things that I told myself about boundaries, that I need to stop myself from talking constantly because other people don't like it, those things go away. So medication does make me more calm in a sense that I just talk less, if that makes sense. I'm just a little bit more chill. Another thing that I have experienced with this medication dose, and also sometimes with other doses of medication, is that I can handle stimuli better. Not in a sense that I would just hate stimuli without medication. It's more like differentiating between stimuli. So when I take medication, I can kind of shut out things better. Of course, there are also things that are annoying about this type of medication and this dose. For instance, now that I take more medication during the day, I notice that my rebound at night it is something else. It is intense, I can tell you that. My parents will tell you that. Everyone around me will tell you that. Like I said, nobody thinks of me as a typical hyperactive ADHD. I don't think of myself as a typical hyperactive ADHD. I do have the mixed type of ADHD, by the way. But when my medication stops working, it through the roof. I will talk endlessly. I will talk loud. I will just be very present at all times when my medication stops working. I also had a meeting with one of my groups of my student association somewhere this week, and that was around the time that my medication stopped working, and I just could not hear a word people said. I was impulsively interrupting people. I was talking about shit that did not matter endlessly. I was just very hyperactive. I was very ADHD, and I really noticed it about myself, but I could not stop it. And I just noticed what was happening, and I just could not do anything about it, but I felt like it was annoying people. So the rebound is way more intense with this dose. The sadness part of the rebound has gone away. It's just hyperactivity, impulsiveness, inattentiveness. So now you're up to date to my medication story, because now we're in the present. This is still my dose. These are still the things that I experience. Something else that I really want to note, like very quickly, because I did not think to say it during the video, but it is a very important side effect of this medication, and that is loss of appetite. It's a very widely experienced side effect. It is still a very intense side effect. So when I started taking medication, even before that, I did not have much of an appetite. I noticed I lost my appetite, so I was already forcing myself to eat during the day because I just did not feel like eating, and I also forgot to eat because, you know, ADHD. But when I took my medication, instead of me thinking I really don't feel like eating, but I'm gonna force myself to eat it, I was feeling actual repulsiveness when it came to food. I was as soon as I thought of food, I wanted to throw up. I was nauseous. Every time I tried to eat something, I would get nauseous. You know, loss of appetite is not a easy thing to deal with when it comes to ADHD medication. It is a very important side effect to note, and it's a very widely experienced one. So yeah, I did really want to say that because loss of appetite is no joke. It's really not a joke. So that was the video. I was actually planning on also doing the pros and cons of medication in this video, but this is already way too long, so I'm not gonna do that. I did not think I had that much to say about medication. I probably still forgot a lot of things. Rebound has kicked in. I don't know if you've noticed during this video, but my rebound slowly started to kick in a little bit. Do you hear my brother singing in the background? If so, you're probably gonna hear him sing the entire video. That is that. If you're thinking about taking medication, just give it a shot. Just give it a shot, see what it will do. If there are people in your environment who are telling you you will just be addicted to this medication, you know, please tell them ADHD medication is not something you will get addicted to. It is something you need to function, just like someone who has a condition on their liver or something like that needs some type of medication to help with that, okay? It's no different. Don't shame others for taking the medication, and especially don't shame yourself. Anyways, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, do your thing, do whatever you want. Also leave a comment, because I love reading comments, and I love reading about your diagnosis process and seeing where you're at. I love reading about those things. So yeah, that's that, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. I feel like this is gonna be a long video, and I think I forgot to mention a ton of shit. And I also think I sound very negative in this video about medication. I like my medication, okay? Anyways, bye.